It's Amanda Gore here, and we are talking about work-life balance. Kind of a myth, but anyway, we're going to talk about the P's of work-life balance, because to me, the secret of understanding how to have work-life balance is a whole lot of P's. And the first is perception. Work-life balance, honestly, is a complete perception. It's a state of how we view what's going on in our world, the state of our beliefs and the stories that we're telling ourselves. Because the stories we tell ourselves create the filter or make the glasses through which we look. Because they become the beliefs, we look through these special, modified, individual, belief-based glasses, and we perceive everything differently. So we're going to have a look at the life pizza, and we're going to do some pondering and pinpointing of the areas that need to be addressed to bring some balance into our work life. How about just life? Because everybody has work lives merged so much that they're not separate anymore. They're just not separate. So we have to create the separation ourselves. But let's ponder the life pizza, and it's a little messy, but keep breathing as you look at it, because if you're a perfectionist, notice all the P words we're going to be covering today, because one of the things is, if you can give people something to hook concepts onto, they remember them. And so I'm hooking the work-life balance stuff onto P words, and let's see how many P words you remember at the end of this. So back to the pizza, let's ponder it. So I'll read it out to you because you may not be able to see it as easily. The first section here is on friendships, and the friendships give you the positivity, potentially, another P word, potentially in your life. They can be other than that, but really you want to hang around friends who are actually positive with you and are a positive influence on you. Health, a critical one. That's why I put up here. I know it's not exactly the right size, but it's interesting. Have a look at how picky you are when you look at this. If you're becoming critical because it's not perfect, and it's not all pretty, then take a breath, because that's going to be something that is eating away at you inside, that will be disturbing any kind of balance that you could get, any kind of work-life harmony, any kind of life harmony, actually, if you're already critical about this. So just pay attention, again, pay attention to how you're responding to the slightly messy diagram. So health, this is for peak performance or not in all areas. And just remember, in your life, as I'm going through this, I want you to think about how much time you allocate to each one of these pizza pieces, because that's an indication of where you're prioritizing or not, or you've got no perception of the imbalance going on here. Because when you've got an imbalance here, you're not going to feel like you have any work-life balance at all. But health is so critical, because if you're not healthy, if you don't have energy and vitality, if you don't feel you can get up in the morning and move, like I'm 70 and I've got a body that moves really well. I can do whatever sport I like, kind of. I don't want to play football, but I can play pickleball, and I can swim, and I can run, and I can walk, and I exercise each day, and it's a great thing to do. But most people think, well, I'm getting older, or I haven't got the energy, or I can't do this exercise. And again, it's perceptions. And so we talk ourselves out of doing the exercise or whatever it is that's going to boost our health and give us the energy and vitality to exercise. So be thinking, where am I? Let's say out of a score of 10, how are you scoring in terms of friendships? Have you got lots of friendships, or do you have just a few really close friendships? Do you nurture those friendships? Do you take care of those people? Do you interact with them and make sure that you reach out and connect? Or do you have any friends at all? Is this an area that you need to pick up in? Or do you have a bunch of friends who put you down or don't lift you up? Just kind of, ponder, where am I out of 10 on a friendship level? And then go to your health. Where am I on a scale of 10 on my health levels. And think mental, physical, emotional, spiritual health, not just your physical health, even though that's a P word. So physical, mental, spiritual, emotional health. All of those you've got to consider. So if you want, do 4 scores out of 10. 1 physical, 1 mental, 1 emotional, 1 spiritual. Then if we go to family, and by the way, I'm going fast, but you can watch this video again 500 times if you like. If we look at family, family kind of gives you purpose in life. It's the reason a lot of people live. Now, it depends. If you have family, that can be a priority, P word, in your life. But for some of us, we don't have a lot of family. My family are very precious. P word score, there's so many P words coming out. My family are very precious to me. I don't have a lot of them, but they're precious, those I do have. So think about this. Think about how much time you spend with your family and, rank it out of 10. And remember, family doesn't have to be blood relatives. I have as strong a family connection with people who are not my blood relatives than as I do with my blood relatives. And I truly consider them family. They are my family. I have extra sisters. It's wonderful. So when you're thinking about family, think about blood relatives, because sometimes blood relatives, well, the family we were born into was just not one that was anything but a growth opportunity for us. But our actual friends who are family can provide us, another P word, sorry, I know I'm probably annoying you saying it, but they keep coming out of my mouth, can provide us with the heart nurturing and the love that we need. What about work? Work is about provision and gives us an amazing opportunity for participation, for meeting new people, for creating new social circles. Think about it. If you move to a new place, like I did in Virginia Beach, well, my work, I'm pretty much solo. It's not like I go to an office or I have a team of people that I didn't know before that now I'm getting to know and I interact with. And it's been extraordinarily difficult. So I think people underestimate the value of the connections that we make at work, and how when you go to a new job, it explodes your group of connections and potential friends and possibilities. There you go. There's another P word. I didn't actually write possibilities up here, but I will write it now. Possibilities. ILITIES. And so let's go round to the spirituality, which is what gives you purpose and what I write down, peace and personal power. And, in terms of your spiritual out of 10, I would be thinking in terms of how much time do you give yourself to connect to yourself, to connect to your higher self, if you want to think about that, or God, or the universe, or source, or whatever it is that you believe in. Anything that's important to you. And how much time do you give yourself to just pause and be still and be present and appreciate what it is that you have and appreciate the surroundings you're in. So many times we're listening to something or watching a YouTube thing when we're walking in nature. And there's all this exquisite stuff around us, this beautiful energy, amazing plants, amazing flowers, but we don't see a thing. We're not present. We're kind of multitasking, listening to something on a podcast or something, or watching something, and we're ignoring the magnificent environment that's around us. Because we are part of nature, and that's part of our spirituality. It isn't just a kind of a religious thing. So out of 10, how are you doing on meaning and purpose in life? How are you doing on the amount of peace that you have, the pausing that you do, and all of that slowing down, spending time, connecting to yourself really transforms the amount of power and energy that you have. So how are you doing in that out of 10? Because remember, we're pondering and we're pinpointing the areas we want to work on. And then there's the intimate relationship. And the P word, of course, for that is passion. Now, not all of us have intimate relationships. But if you do, how much time are you allocating to this as opposed to all the others? And by the way, parents, If we get past the first flush of love and it's all wonderful and we're adoring each other and want to spend all the time with each other, and then children come along and life comes along and we end up putting this relationship on the back burner. The children come first, work comes first, chores come first, everything else comes first before the relationship. And then that undermines everything else in the pizza. And if we don't have an intimate relationship in our lives, we usually have intimate friendships, people that we're truly close to, who are family, and they're the sort of equivalent of the nurturing and the comfort that we get from a relationship that's intimate. And of course doesn't have the physical aspect most likely, but that's not for discussion in this video. So how did you go out of 10 on each one of these? And if you want to pause the video and just ponder a bit longer so you can give an honest appraisal of where you really need to get work happening, then do that. You can take as long as you like and then come back to the video and have a look. Well, in fact, let's break it now anyway. So this is the introduction to the Life Pizza. Ponder it, pinpoint the areas that you feel like you need to work on to bring them up to balance. And notice where you are out of balance. And then come in for part 2, because I've just realized how long I've been going. So see you soon.
Always look on the bright side of life.